Welcome to Keep Traveling Your African Story, the only podcast that shares the real voices and journeys shaping African tourism. I'm your host, 𝐸𝐿_Seziba, and I've been a part of the African tourism industry for over 20 years. Through my inbound tour operation, Keep Traveling, I've had the privilege of connecting travelers from all around the world with the magic of Africa. This podcast is my way of opening that world up to you, a place to learn about the people, properties, and opportunities that make travel across this continent so very special. I've gotten to Masuwe Lodge, and I'd love to introduce to you the general manager, who is Cassius 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐵. Cassius, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Cassius, for our international listeners, tell us a little bit about where your property is located within the Victoria Falls area.
Masuwe Lodge is located 7 kilometers out of Victoria Falls, close to the highway to the airport, Victoria Falls Airport.
Are you sort of in between the airport and the Victoria Falls town?
Correct.
Okay, that's great. Tell me something. How did you get into the tourism business? Was this always the plan for you?
I wouldn't say it was a plan, but my mom and my brother worked in the hunting safaris, and later on they changed to photographing safari. And my mom was a chef and my brother was a waiter. I used to go and visit my mom where she was working for Landela Safaris back in the 90s. And I enjoyed watching her. I enjoyed watching my brother working, and I fell in love with the tourism industry.
So tell me, what makes your property different from the other properties around you?
I think here at Masuwe, we have got a combination of the nature and the Victoria Falls. We are outside of Victoria Falls, and 7 minutes you are at Masuwe Lodge with the animals, your elephants, drinking water at the water hole, your buffaloes, your giraffes, your zebras. Then 7 minutes you are already at the mighty Victoria Falls. And that's the combination we have here at Masuwe, and I think that's the most important thing as a lodge.
Basically, because you're outside of the actual town of Victoria Falls, you're out of the hustle and bustle of the noise.
Yes, that's correct. People here, they do helicopter activities, and we are just outside town and away from the noisy. That's the most important thing about Masuwe, is you can combine the nature and the town tours, the town activities. We can combine that when you stay with us here at Masuwe.
Is there a story behind the name of the lodge?
The lodge was named after a river which passes through in front of the lodge. There is a community called the Masuwe community. That's where the river starts. Masuwe means an opening, like a door, opening to nature, opening to everything, opening to your life. The lodge got its name from the river called Masuwe.
That's interesting. And tell me, does that river go all the way into the Zambezi?
Yes, it goes all the way into the mighty Zambezi River.
Now, guests that are coming from overseas, how do you make them feel at home at the lodge?
When you get here at Masuwe, we always say you are at home. It's home away from home. Feel free to do anything you want to do in terms of your activities, in terms of your experience. A lot of people pay a lot of money to come here. They travel 16 hours, 18 hours to come to Victoria Falls to see the mighty Victoria Falls. Everything here is free, is open, and people have this feeling that they are at home. Your second home is Masuwe Lodge.
So talking about those guests, and I know that you've been in the business since childhood, not particularly with Masuwe, but tell me about a very rewarding experience that you've had with a guest during your time in the hospitality industry.
Maybe one incident which I can tell you is an incident which happened in Manapus. At one point when I worked in Manapus, we had one lady. Manapus operates from 1st April to end of November, because during the rain season, it happened that particularly year, the rain season was very late, and instead of ending end of March, April, around mid-April, it was still raining, but we had a booking and we had to take the booking. So it happened that this lady went out on a game drive, and that was the last 2 days. She went out on a game drive, and I got a radio from the guard saying they got stuck, and one other vehicle which was around in camp had gone to get some supplies. I had to radio the guy to come back quickly so that we can also go and help the vehicle with the guest. And we took off from the lodge, and as we are about to get to the stuck vehicle, We could see the guest, we could see the vehicle. We also got stuck. By this time of the day, it was almost around 5:30, something to 6 o'clock. And there was nothing we can do. We walked all the way to the vehicle with the guest and we found out he was stuck to the diff. There was nothing we could do. I just thought of our neighbor lodge, which was close by, the tractor. In Manapus, you have to go and look for phone signal at a certain place. I was walking with my phone in my hand looking for signal. Then I got a signal and I tried to phone the lodge with the tractor. And they said, our tractor is also out, but it will be back in an hour's time. Now I'm stuck. But there's nothing I could do. I have to wait for the tractor. So the tractor, it arrived late at the lodge and they only came to assist us at around 10 at night. And by there, during the rain season, that's when mosquitoes are plenty. I think the guest had peaceful sleep, insect repellent, and she was okay. So when the tractor arrived to help us, we put the vehicle and our vehicle almost threw out of the mud. The tractor did the puncture and there's nothing we could do now. So I said, okay, guys, I think the best plan A, plan B, we tried everything. The only plan left is plan Z, which is now to walk back to the lodge. So we decided to walk. By that time, I think it was around 12 midnight. Then we started to walk and the guest, the following morning, she was leaving. Her flight was 10 o'clock mid-morning. And she was wearing nice shoes. And she said, that's the only shoes I have. I can't even walk with these shoes. So I decided, okay, my boys were with me. And the smallest size was size 7. And she's like size 4. And we tied the shoes so that at least she can walk. But she was old. And at one point, I thought maybe we have to carry her. But she refused and said we can walk. So we started walking, going back to the lodge. And along the way, it's very muddy. From far away, we could smell the rain coming. And we actually didn't have any torches. The only torches we were using, flashlight we were using, were from our phones. And the phones were running out of battery. At one point, we could see some eyes. And you can see those eyes are hyenas. And we could hear lions from a distance. All the night sounds were out. And in Manapus, during the rain season, there's a lot of ponds around. And crocodiles sometimes, they come out and go into those ponds looking for easy prey. So at one point, there was a crocodile which was crossing in front of the lodge, going from one point to another point. Then later on, a vehicle from the lodge, which had a tractor, they came. And I think it was around 1 o'clock now. And they wanted to come and help the tractor so that the tractor can pull our vehicles out. I asked the driver to take my guest back to the lodge, then come, and he agreed to take my guest back to the lodge, and she got to the lodge around 1:30 in the morning. Myself and the other guys, we had to wait for the vehicle to come back so that we go back again to where the vehicle was stuck, or the tractor as well. All the vehicles for a airport transfer were stuck, so we have to take them out so that we can have a vehicle tomorrow morning for the airport transfer. So we had to go back. But whilst we were waiting for the vehicle to come back from the lodge, we were chased by a big elephant. It wasn't very dark because of the moon. So we only managed to see the elephant when it was very close. And apparently the elephant in Manapus are very chilled. So it just chased away for a few meters and it turned off and went away. And the vehicle came back and I got to the lodge around 3 a.m. In the morning, I wake up around 6. And I was very afraid what the incident which happened with my guest. It was very dangerous walking in Manapus at that particular time. I went to see her, and when I got closer to her room, I could hear her. She was doing a little bit of exercise outside the tent. And when she saw me, "Hey, guest, you're back, huh? What time did you come back?" I said, 3 o'clock. You know what? That was a very special experience we had last night. I was like, really? Does she know what I was thinking? Does she know the danger we were facing, walking with an old lady at night with all those animals? And he said, you know what? Next year, I would like to come back and maybe you can organize something like that for me. She came back the following year and apparently we didn't organize something like that because it was very dangerous. Yeah.
Cassius, thank you for sharing. That's a very interesting story. Cassius, I just want to stop you there, and I'm really excited to welcome Gary Seziba, who's a professional guide that works out of Masuwe. Gary, welcome to the show.
Welcome. How are you?
Gary, how long have you been a professional guide?
I've been working in this industry for the past 20 years now.
Okay, and which part of the guiding is your most favorite as far as the regions are concerned?
Doing game drives, doing safari guides in the park.
And is that based in Victoria Falls only?
No, I usually travel to different national parks in Zimbabwe and in SADC countries. In Zimbabwe, I usually do guiding in 𝐻𝐤𝐴 National Park, Zambezi National Park in Victoria Falls, Manapoos, 𝐦𝐤𝐴, and I also go to countries like Zambia, Masuwe National Park, 𝐻𝐤𝐴 National Park in Botswana, Makgadikgadi National Park in Botswana, as well as Moremi Game Drive, which is also in Botswana. Sometimes we do visit a previous trip, which is in Namibia as well.
Wow, that's such a huge number of parks. Do you have a favorite park that you like to guide in?
Actually, I don't have a favorite national park. I just love my job. I just want to do safaris any place, anywhere, as long as there are wild animals there. Every experience in every national park, it's worth it for me.
Do you only do drives or can you do walking safaris as well?
I also do walking safaris. I also do guided tours of the Victoria Falls as well, and also do traditional or cultural tours as well.
And those cultural and traditional tours would be Zimbabwe?
Mainly Zimbabwe, but we also visit other countries. When we are doing long tours, we also learn about those cultural tours in Botswana, in Zambia, any country that we visit.
Remind me again which countries we're talking about. We're talking about Zimbabwe.
We are talking about Zimbabwe, Zambia, Namibia, and Botswana.
That's one hell of a portfolio that you managed to get around. I'm very impressed. During your game drives or walks, is there a particular favorite animal that you like tracking?
Usually the giraffe.
And tell me why that is.
These are very quiet animals. If you don't make noise, you can get as close as possible to giraffes. And it's very safe to get close to them. They rarely attack human beings.
Do you think all the countries that we've mentioned, do you think they're doing a good job on the conservation level?
Most of the countries now are trying by all means to do better in terms of conservation. The main problem that we are having these days is we are overdeveloping, taking the habitat of wildlife as well as developing on animal corridors. This is causing a lot of human-animal conflicts. So that's one of the things that our governments have to take note of before they develop in national parks.
Is that all the governments of those countries? Botswana, Zambia, Namibia, do you think they all have the same kinds of issues?
Yes, I think they all have the same kind of issues. However, they are trying by all means to conserve the animals because we still have a lot of wildlife in all these countries.
So you think the governments are doing a progressively better job all the time?
Not all the time, not always. But in terms of poaching, they are doing a good job. But in terms of extending cities, building habitats for people, they have to take a lot of consideration on their planning so that they don't encroach into animal habitats or corridors. This disturbs the flow of animals as well as their breeding.
I understand that. And sometimes we only look at the bigger animals, but we also forget the impact of humans on the smaller creatures that we don't always see, the insects, the birds that are highly important to the ecosystem, right?
Yes, that's true.
Now, people that want to come from overseas to do a safari, what would you like to say to them to encourage them to come to Zimbabwe or the SADC countries and do a safari?
SADC countries are the most safe countries in terms of crime. Victoria Falls is the lowest crime rate in the world. Zimbabwe is a peaceful country. Zambia is also peaceful. Namibia, Botswana, they are very peaceful countries with a very low crime rate. So these are some of the safest destinations in the whole world that you can come and enjoy your safari and your holiday. All the stakeholders that are in Victoria Falls, they are playing a big role to maintain peace in Victoria Falls. Tourism sector, the government as well, through the police, the council as well, through their own workforce. Everyone together, as well as the community as a whole. Everyone is playing a role in terms of trying to develop the community and also to maintain peaceful tourism and a clean environment in Victoria Falls.
And lastly, if a guest of yours while on a safari drive or walk could take away one feeling after having been on that safari, what would you want that feeling to be?
I would want them to actually advertise or spread the word that Zimbabwe is very peaceful, and also we have got one of the best guides and knowledgeable guides in our Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe.
Gary, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I appreciate you coming around and sharing your time and your energy. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Cassius, now that you're in Victoria Falls, what do you love most about the area? Besides the views and besides the falls, what is it that keeps you here in Vic Falls?
To be honest with you, Victoria Falls is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So it's a privilege, I think, for me to work in Victoria Falls, and especially at Masuwe. Why? I used to work for this company. I started working for this company in 1993 up to 2004. Then I left and I started doing overland, doing trips from Nairobi, Kenya to Victoria Falls, then Cape Town to Victoria Falls. Then I left, I went to Mozambique for 10 years. I went to Pemba, Ibo Island lodges in the northern part of Mozambique for 5 years. And the main reason why I left there is because I was sick and tired of seafood on the island. Then I came down to Gorongosa, which is the middle part of Mozambique, and I worked there for 5 years before I went to Manapoose. Then I came back here in 2017 in August, and I always consider myself as a prodigal son because I'm back home now. It is a privilege because before I left the company in 2004, I think we were over 1,500 workers working for the company, and I was the first person to come back to work for the company again. But Victoria Falls itself, there is a combination of the town and of course the park. Chamabondo National Park and Zambezi National Park. So you've got 2 activities you can do, the nature and the town. This was my first time to be working closer to a town like this since I started working in 1993 in the tourism industry. Even in Mozambique, I was very far away from town. So it's something special and something new.
Awesome, awesome. So while we're on the subject of being in Victoria Falls, what kind of wildlife or nature experiences can guests expect to see?
Okay, so here you can see the big 4. That's your elephant, your buffalo, your lions, your leopard, and of course the other plant game.
And are there any traditional foods that some foreigners always fall in love with?
They are traditional food, like when guest stays for us for like 3 nights. The last night we do a traditional meal where people have to sample the traditional meal and the traditional beer, which is brewed over 7 days. They have to sample that. A lot of people always like the food, but to be honest, I haven't seen someone saying, I would like to take this back home, but they love the food.
Excellent, excellent. You've been in the industry for so many years.
Yeah.
What are your hopes for the future, for the industry, for the country?
For the future, for the industry first, I would like the industry to go back to its peak before the COVID period. And even during the COVID period, I still think we were growing before we get to our peak. For the country, I always hope for the better and for the best, and also to have more people coming to visit Zimbabwe.
If a guest could take away one particular feeling after staying with you here at Masuwe Lodge, what would you want that feeling to be?
I just want people to feel they are welcomed. I just want people to feel they are at home. I just want people to feel they are looked after well here at Masuwe or here in Victoria Falls, and the feeling that they are part of Victoria Falls when they are here. They don't think about anything else, they think about Victoria Falls. And that's the feeling we always want to have here at the lodge, to feel people are welcomed, people are wanted here, people feel excited, to feel the authentic experience here in Victoria Falls.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And for anyone that's coming from overseas that might seem a little bit nervous about making the trip to Africa, what would you say to those people about visiting Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwean people are well known all over the world. They are very friendly, welcoming, and hardworking. Just want to say to people, I know a lot of people might hear a lot of things on social media and stuff like that about Africa. Africa is a very, very safe place, especially here in Zimbabwe, here in Victoria Falls. We are very, very, very safe. Let me tell you something about Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls is very safe. Everyone is helping. You are lost, someone will come and say, hey, are you lost? Are you looking for somewhere to go, or can I help? The only thing is, I always say to my guests is like, you can walk any time of the day, any time of the night in Victoria Falls. Even walking from town to Masuwe Lodge, you are very, very safe. You won't see any troubles. The only thing you must be very careful of, even if you are in town, is elephants and buffaloes, because at night they come into town, not from people. From people, you are very, very, very safe.
Thank you so much for that, Cassius. It's been really great to have you on the show and hear your story and hear about this wonderful place, Masuwe Lodge, just outside of the town limits. Thank you very much for coming on the show and telling us about your journey so far.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming and for us to share this to the whole world so that they know there is Masuwe Lodge and they are very, very safe coming here. They're very safe. And I hope you're going to keep on doing such a great job you're doing. And thank you so much.
What an awesome conversation. Thank you so much, Cassius Tembo, for sharing your story and for everything you're doing to grow African tourism. Don't forget, every week we feature fantastic prize giveaways from some of Africa's most beautiful lodges, camps, and travel partners. You could win your own unforgettable getaway just by listening, subscribing, or visiting keeptraveling.africa/podcast. To enter or to read more about today's guest, head over to our website or follow Keep Traveling on social media for the latest episodes, stories, and travel inspiration. I'm 𝐸𝐿𝐸𝐸, and this has been Keep Traveling, your African story. Remember, a few years from now, you won't remember how much it cost you, but you'll still remember the memories you made. Keep traveling.